Its armor is contempt, its shield is disgust, and its sword is hatred. And it turns out that's a pretty excellent recipe for a shooter. Welcome to Warhammer 40k Boltgun, the grimdark high tide mark for retro shooters. The retro shooter movement of recent years has reminded us of many bits of ancient wisdom, like the joy of circle strafing and the beauty to be found in various shades of brown sprite. Above all though, stripped down FPS experiences like Boltgun here remind us that you don't need expensive performance capture or Booker nominated plot lines to put a grin on our face. You just need a few corridors stuffed with enemies, some key cards and a set of weapons that feel angry just to hold them. Give us those elements like Aurok Digital does in this true hidden gem in Xbox Game Pass library, and we'll make such a mess that even Doom Guy would get squeamish. If you're not already sold, it's the distinctive look and irresistible marriage of Warhammer lore and build engine era running and gunning. This is why Boltgun deserves to be harvested from Game Pass immediately and requisitioned onto your SSD. What you're looking at here is the eponymous Boltgun. It is the first range weapon you're given in the game, and it never stops feeling like a nuclear blast with a trigger. The Inquisition sent you down to planet Gaia to sort out a rat rift that's letting the forces of its chaos spill forth into the Forge world, and they're not about to send you down with a weak starter pistol. That tells you a lot about this game's overall design. No weak guns. Only different options for causing righteous devastations, with each offering an advantage in certain scenarios or against certain enemies, all of which are capable of turning a legion of grimdark ne'er-do-wells into silky smooth strawberry jam. As you get fluid with the combat and movement system, you start to chain attacks together, dashing into enemies to stun them, charging your chainsaw to slow time momentarily, and then launch into an opponent, chaining these attacks together and throwing in an odd finishing shot with the gun just for variety. However, much of the odds might be stacked against you, and in later levels, they really are. You always feel monumentally powerful as an ultramarine. Even running carries a heavy thundering clank that conveys what a dangerous piece of machinery you are. So as you stomp through levels in 3 chapters, you get increasingly adept in using weapons and movement abilities to make the slaughter ever more efficient and stylish. And that's what keeps your brain engaged. Not a deluge of complicated cutscenes laying out finely worked plot points or brain melting puzzles, just old school corridor shooter layout where you hone your grisly craft. Level design is still impressive though, adding a lot of verticality to the Doom-like mazes that genre convention demands, or hiding the next keycard or the next secret away in such a way that you feel like your delinquent explorations being rewarded. Punctuating these corridor runs are bigger combat arenas where you're forced to hold fort and purge the arena of waves of enemies, circle strafing like it's 1996 in a desperate bid to stay alive. These are the moments where you can really show the game you've processed everything it's been teaching you along the way, combining weapons and abilities to tilt what seems like insurmountable odds in your favor. If those turn out to be the highlights of the experience for you, Horde mode offers an ultra concentrated hit of the same challenge. Endless waves arriving in increasing challenging composition of enemy types, not to mention numbers, and one simple task: stay alive as long as you can. You don't have to be a Warhammer 40k aficionado to get a kick out of Boltgun. If you do have a cupboard full of airbrushes and cathedral paint pots, you'll have plenty to nod approvingly at as the chapters reveal new in-universe enemy types. But for everyone else, that just means plenty of variety and that unmistakable sense of entering a really fleshed out realm. The kind of place that seems to extend way further than you can actually see. We can't just not mention the visuals either, can we? Just like Night Dive's brilliant System Shock remaster and fellow retro shooter Proteus, Boltgun applies a pixelation effect to modern polygonal assets to create a build engine aesthetic, while still cramming in far more detail into the environmental geometry and lighting than in old games that is taking its aesthetic cues from. That gives you a double shot of atmosphere, and it's nostalgic and cozy, like a 90s inspired shooter should be, but it's also genuinely foreboding doing real justice to its source material. And just to go the extra mile, Auroch have included some customization options into the graphics menu, so you can see exactly how retro or modern you want Boltgun to look. Warhammer 40,000 Boltgun is available to download for free for all Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscribers. You'll get 3 campaign chapters plus Horde mode to blast through. You won't need that long to realize why this is truly a hidden gem in the Game Pass library. Though one squeeze of that trigger and you'll be reminded how pure and compelling FPS games can be.